the camera is really short right now. Let me fix that shit. Hello, everyone. My name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and you're very shaky. I'm sorry. I'm sorry! Oh, Jesus. Trying to balance it out. Trying to make sure everything looks good. Are we good? I'm gonna fall backwards again. Hello? Hello, everyone. My name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and welcome to the third in our 3 new games lineup. It is the long-anticipated, often requested, and visually stunning, the Hayseed Knight. This is the second of the 3 games in which I made a bad first impression with the dev. Because in the poll I put out on Twitter, I didn't put the and the Hayseed Knight, and that is not the name. It's like the opposite of saying the Star Wars. It's fucking infuriating. So I fucked up. That was not a good first impression. And then, of course, the other bad first impression is just sort of a hypothesis, but I think I made a bad first impression with the person behind After Class, because I said a thing I shouldn't have, and there you go. So, but yeah, before we even get started, listen to this fucking menu music, man. I've listened to this for like a few minutes now, and I'm just goddamn jamming. Like, I love the little animation on the screen. It gives you a little sense of, ooh, what's this gonna be about? It's kind of windy, and it's looking a little desolate. There's like, it already sets the tone, and I really like it. It's in the contention for, like, best menu screen. There goes that stomach disease! I took my pill today, so hopefully it's not too bad, but we'll see how it goes. What did you not like? The Star Wars. I love this Star Wars. Alright. Let's get started. Let's not waste any more fucking time. This version includes up to Chapter 2 and a major aesthetic update regarding character designs. Anything displayed is subject to change in later versions. As always, keep up with development on my Twitter account. Yes. The link for the Patreon is in the description down below. And if you follow me on Twitter, I put out a tweet about this stream, and it tags the developer in that tweet, so you can find all the stuff. And there's also, if you follow on the Patreon, you can find it there. Oh, god damn it. Let's just go. Let's go. This is hard. Harder than I would have thought. Coming back, I mean. I've been walking for who knows how long, but here I am. So let's see how Heirloom. It's like heirloom. It's heirloom. Changed in my absence. Ooh, loving the art style. It's kind of like Regal Tales. Herub, good to see you. The Royal Pathway, fancy as ever. People, tiny people, gods, I still hate you all. I swear that if someone so much as looks at me twice, I'm leaving and not coming back. For real. Seriously. No looking at me. Really? How could you ignore this big hat? Oh, shit. Do you even know who I am, you witless bunch of fop doodles? Fine, whatever. I guess that it's been longer than I thought. Leave the whole fame and glory thing to the people who actually deserve to be mentioned. Like me. After all, I'm basically doing charity work here. There's no reason for me to come back. I should have just stayed out of Akazor forever. I should have learned not to care about the things they say about that dumbass at this point. But the things they have been saying about him are just crazy. The Knight of the Upper Field, that's how they call him now. and they sing dumb songs about all the awesome things he never did. Battling monsters, serving whatever king or queen rules at the time, casting spells, loving does, ha! Until morning comes. Loving does. What the fuck does that mean? Making foes vanish with a single scream. And you know what? It's getting really hard to remember what's true and what's a lie, and that's scary. That's the single scariest thing that's ever happened to me. I like him too much to ignore this anymore. So, I'm going home. I'm going to tell everyone what kind of idiot that their dear knight is, figuratively, in a book, without my name. I don't especially want to be lynched. Right. This was a letter. Can you read yet? If so, tell your mother I hate her. If not, I guess she'll burn this letter for your convenience. Wish me luck all the same. I have no idea how to start this. Chapter 1, The Fickle Queen. What better way to start a story than when things are about to go south? Nice. Oh, there is voice acting. This is gonna be easy on me. Oh, shit.
Hey, lad.
What's that? I should probably turn this up then. Make sure that you can hear it. Maybe turn down the music so that the voice comes. Oh, they already did it. Man, so convenient, so considerate.
Do we have to go through this every single fuck? Oh boy. Here we go.
Oh boy. Encyclopedia. Yoff.
A beast!
A beast. Oh my god, look at those hands. Look at those hands. Oh, damn.
I saw a beast!
Way to call me an eyesore.
I'm telling you, I saw a beast.
Right. Look, I'm not drunk enough for this, so good.
This ain't no time to sleep. The beast may be gone, but the Macadar is still out there.
The Macadar.
The forest out there has come to find me.
Can you stop screaming like an idiot and use your brain for a second?
Goff likes to sing song a lot.
I knew they'd get to the city one day.
You look so fucking... You look so scared.
We gotta tell everyone.
There are no damn trees around you, dimwit!
A long shush followed right after, or that's what we'll go with, since the words their dear neighbors used were too colorful to be reproduced.
Oh, then what did you holler for, Mr. Bard? The sun ain't up yet. If you don't quit your whining, we're gonna get a beating.
Says you, the buck who hath been delighting mine ears with his pitiful wailing all night long.
Say what?
You've been talking in your sleep again.
Ha! Not my fault, but the beast? Or sorry? What do you prefer? What do you prefer, young or old, whatever you are? Chat. Go ahead and vote in the chat. While you do that, I will be taking a drink. Not as necessary, since I'm not voicing all the characters, but you know what? I still like water and living, so... 1, 2, or 3, what do you choose? The dev says they won't be able to come watch today, but they will check it out as soon as they can. They got interviews today, so wish them luck! Wish them luck! Gotta vote for Beast, to vote for Sorry. Vote for Beast! Vote for Not My Fault! I vote for Sorry. I vote for Sorry. I vote for Beast! Well, Sorry and Beast are tied. So I think we'll go with Sorry, because Not My Fault is whiny. The Beast isn't a thing, and Sorry.
Well, slap my head and call me silly. I'm so sorry, Mr. Bard. I forgot we were an heirloom for a moment there.
Heirloom.
But no more. I'm gonna make sure to keep my dreams dead silent from now on.
Good old southern accent.
That's what you said last time. Ah.
Ah!
Can't a deer have a hangover in peace for once?
Aw.
You know that I'd move away if I could, but...
Don't sweat it, kid. Once you're faring better, you'll take us both out of our misery.
Wait. Fair? Fair? Oh, 3.
Oh, 3. What?
Don't.
The fair!
I swear to bite that kid, if you keep screaming, I'm going to kill you.
Not if they get to me first!
And he's out. And so Adder's heavy hooves stomped the ground with the force of a stampede as he sprinted away, making Goff regret every decision that led him to suffering this torment.
Glad we sorted that out.
Love the character designs in this game. Wide awake now and running as fast as his clumsy hooves would let him, Adder set off to the bazaar. A whole year had come and gone since he'd set foot on the streets of the Slander District, the most infamous slums of the capital. A place so heinous that walking there alone at night was considered a suicide attempt. A place where you were in your right to keep a house if you could outlast its previous owner. Where he'd once felt like a poor fawn fearing for his life, now he felt like a poor deer fearing for his life. But at last, he actually knew his way around after such a long time avoiding brigands. He had no time to spare worrying about trivial matters such as being robbed or stabbed, for he knew fully well that he was to meet his destiny. Oh, shit.
The patron's gonna skin me alive!
The motherfucker bouncing around and shit. Oh, Christ. A destiny which most likely didn't really include being flayed by his dearest employer. Though we can't rule out the possibility of his direct superior whacking him in the head for oversleeping on such an important date.
What if she hates me now?
What if you give yourself a fucking shaking syndrome, you fucking Christ? And then what?
Patron won't have no problem kicking me out.
Oh, God, I'm trying to get this fucking hair tie out of my hair. Oh, look at all that. Ugh, crime in Italy.
Kick me out and keep my skin as a payment.
Oh, no.
Nah, that's dumb.
Not that dumb.
But it'll kill me anyway. Oh, crap.
So immersed was he in these fatalistic thoughts invading his head that his brain, which was by all accounts mostly made up of sawdust, didn't pay any mind to the path his hooves were following. Fucking ran so fast I didn't see him almost. And so, as it to be expected from someone not heeding the wise advice, look where you're going, he soon met the first obstacle in his way to the plaza. A wall.
Oh, dear.
Oh, snap. In any other place, that soft chuck would have meant that Adder wouldn't have the benefit of living with his failures alone. In the slums, it could mean that he wouldn't have the benefit of living at all.
That was almost impressive.
Oh, my.
I truly thought that you were going to run straight through that wall for a moment.
The voice got closer by the second, following by a strangely harmonic tinkling, a melody that danced in his ears and paralyzed his mind, rendering him frozen in the spot at the thought of an incoming murderous lady. Adder shut his one remaining eye and held his breath deeply, knowing that it would be the last. Not dead yet. Still not dead. Oh, come here, we're still alive. That's just rude. Between his blurry sight and the what the fuck? Obfuscating? Woo! $20 million word right there. Darkness. Outer could barely tell apart the silhouette standing right in front of him. He should have run and screamed and begged for his life, but instead, he hesitated long enough for a few stray sun rays to wander among the rundown houses, finally casting light upon his foe.
Whoa!
Whoa! That was that animation? That was animation for a second.
For your information, everyone already thinks that Rose are thick-skulled. We don't need another martyr for the cause.
That's the exact same picture that the dev uses for their Twitter. Oh, well, that's cool. It's cool to know. Hottie! That's just called Hottie. Oh, lordy, yes. Outer's absolute lack of reaction made her mocking smile falter. To be fair, he had indeed left a sizable hole in the wall he'd just crashed against, but that was hardly the cause for his sudden drop in mental speed.
Are you okay?
No. Outer nodded, though he hadn't really heard the question. Oh boy. Sensing this, the mysterious lass extended a soft hand towards him in an amiable gesture. Take her hand or play it cool. Take her hand. No need to fucking play. You just ran smack dead ass into a fucking wall. You don't need to be like, oh, yeah, I meant to do that. No, just, she's helping you. Fucking take the help. Christ. Oh, Giddy's been waiting for so long. It was so long, a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. Spoof's looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? Everybody's saying take her hand, so we gonna take her hand. Load her like a gun, Christ.
What are those?
I know they're short. Please don't stare.
Good job, Giddy.
What kind of nonsense is that? I'd never seen hands like those before.
They look like Crash Bandicoot hands. Does Crash Bandicoot have huge hands? No, I don't think he does. I gotta check this now. This is the most important thing in my life. I gotta fucking Google Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot. Let me see a picture of Crash Bandicoot. Okay, he's got kinda big hands. Kinda. I mean, kinda. I mean, look at him. Look at him hands. Look at him motherfucking hands. Oh, Christ. Boop.
My hands? You like my hands?
You like my hands? Oh, shit, Missy. I swear to God, that's one of the nicest goddamn things you ever done just said to me. I just met you. Well, yeah, by default, that's the nicest thing you ever said to me.
Were you born with them? How much weight can you lift? Can you use tools at all? Or wear a shirt? What's wrong with your neck? Is that a hood or a scarf? I love the pattern, by the way.
Oh, she talking so much.
So?
I'm sorry, ma'am. What was the question?
Questions. She has like 15 of them.
You? What are you supposed to be?
Oh! Well, I'm just your run-of-the-mill prairie buck, ma'am. Just, you know, my mom gave me shovels for hands and a gourd for a neck. They're better for work in the fields.
Oh, come on. I want the actual story.
You want the boring bits? Okay. See, I used to be all big and strong. But then I come to the city and what do you know? Food ain't so easy to come by. I was so hungry that I'd even eat the rocks in the street.
Well, that's just sad.
And I go to bed hungry one night, and another, and I keep on starving till I end up 2 meals short of turning into a walking pile of bones. Except for my hands.
Except for my
They just won't get. And they're for real heavy, let me tell you.
This southern accent is almost too much. It's almost too... Well, I tell you right now, my hands are some of the biggest motherfuckers in the entire goddamn world.
So, that's the gist of it. You want to hear about my neck, too? Or my name, at least?
The girl's eyes narrowed as she stared at her. He fixed his gaze on his hands, considering the strange path this conversation had taken.
So what you are saying is that you used to be plump?
Plump? Like fruit? Well, I used to eat a bunch of fruit before I came down here last year, yeah.
Last year? Wait, how many eyes did you have then?
How many? 5, I think, but I lost the other 4.
Worst part is I don't know if he's being serious or not.
Just the one man.
I knew it. You've changed a lot, but it's you. You're that loudmouthed one-eyed chub.
Loudmouth one-eyed chub? Well, that's a very not nice thing to say.
Say what?
It's me. Don't tell me you've forgotten me.
Goff had warned at her multiple times about the dangers of the "it's me" scams, but he was pretty tempted to fall for this one.
Ma'am, I don't know what you're selling, but I ain't gonna buy it.
Hell no, I ain't buying shit.
Come on. Don't you remember that night on the bridge under Hirab's statue? With the guards laughing at you?
Well, when she started that sentence, I thought it was going to go one way, and then it ended with another, and this thing's been a roller coaster.
You didn't hit your head that hard, did you?
I bet those guards had one haystack of a night laughing at some poor buck, but I'm pretty darn sure that wasn't me. I'd remember you. Trust me.
Oh, he blushing.
It was a pretty long time ago, but... Wait, I know.
I know. She bit her lip just long enough to make Adder lose his need to understand the situation anymore.
Come closer.
Oh, God, what the... She's gonna hit him in the head again and be like, "Wake up, motherfucker!" Who, me, almost asked the deer, yet there was no one else hiding in the midst of the dawn.
I said come closer.
All right,
Even the
then,
music's
here I
like,
come.
oh shit, something about to happen.
That's great. Come on, don't make me walk over there.
God, what the fuck is happening? I'm all worried now.
Boop.
Boop. Boop.
That's close enough.
She slipped right under Adder's arm, uninvited, but not unwelcomed.
Now, if you could get on your knees, you know what? Maybe you should see a doctor after all.
Look at this mother... Look at having a seizure or some shit.
See, there you are.
Oh, shit.
Give me a break.
In less than a blink, her smile was back in her face. And she turned to face the voice in the distance. It was some other doe in similarly flashy clothing, hurriedly stomping her way towards Joseph, apparently.
You called?
We've been looking everywhere for you.
Gotta slowly get my ass out of here.
And so you found me. Congratulations. Now, if you don't mind...
Miss Rochelle's had us searching for hours. She wants you back immediately.
Well, I'm kind of busy, so... Would you be so kind to go tell her to find someone else to bother while I catch up with my friend here?
The fair's about to start. Head back already or you'll get us all in trouble.
The red-haired girl stood completely still. She held her breath for an instant.
I'm sorry. Was that an order?
What? Miss Rochelle said...
Say, do you know what happened to the last wench who had the gall to order me around?
Oh, shit. That bitch gonna die. That bitch gonna end up in a ditch somewhere covered in petrol on fire. I'm worried. Joseph. Sorry about that. My throat decided to just close out of nowhere. Joseph's smile was still plastered on her face, but her eyes had narrowed down to a squint, sharpening her long eyelashes even further.
I don't...
Care to find out?
Oh, shit. The doe, looking for her, stammered, color drained from her mane? After a few tense seconds, a pleased smile spread across Joseph's face. I keep wanting to say Joseph, but it's not. I don't remember.
Come now, honey. Don't make that face. I'm just joking here. I've got too much going on as it is to begin picking fights with my sisters. Don't you think?
Don't.
Right.
Then that's settled. Let's go.
Just whipped her braid. Oh, I see. As she turned around sharply, making the choir of bells that hung from her hips announce her leave. Adder had barely just a second to register what had happened. He could swear something had moved in a corner, but he couldn't care less. The finest lass he'd ever laid eyes upon in his whole life was about to disappear, and she seemed to have forgotten all about him. Facing the prospect of never seeing him again, he tried at the very least to catch up to introduce himself formally.
Wait,
Oh, shit.
Yes?
No. But as Ada was about to speak... Oh, shit. Oh, hell. Oh, hell. Here comes a Bri. But as Ada was about to speak, he had the same feeling of missing something. And so his gaze drifted following her back once more. He noticed something else moving behind her derriere. Something long and like a whip, ending in a red tuft of fur. Something that most definitely didn't look like a cervine tail. Confused, his eyes quickly traveled from the zone where her back lost its name to the top of her head. Praying. Wishing. Desperately hoping that he wouldn't find what he found sprouting from the top of her red head. Horns. Coiled, black, barhan thorn. Barhan? I doubt it's barhan. Baron thorn. Horns, not thorns! Are you an idiot? Yes, longer than his own rack. Ada had to hold back a yelp. He'd been so distracted by the rest of her features that... No way, I wasn't looking at her. Ada yelled internally. Beads of sweat began falling from his temples as his face became even more flustered. There's no way What is... She playing stuff in the bathroom. I swear to God. I swear to George. I believe at least that there is a George. But as if meaning to aggravate his inner turmoil, Joseph smiled one last time with a mischievous glint in her eyes.
Don't worry. I'll see you around. Handsome.
Dun dun dun! Ada was so many things. He was goofy. He was loud. He had a smile that could light up a whole town. He was gigantic, and yet... if there was something he'd never call himself, it was no doubt handsome. After all, a buck's worth may as well be as large as his horns are, and his were tiny, almost childlike. So that offhanded compliment, that mere insinuation that someone found him actually good-looking, made his heart flutter. And by flutter, I mean it may as well have burst out of his chest right then. So, for just 1 second... he forgot that the lady in front of him was horned. For a moment, he forgot all the things he had heard about gazelles. His face turned red, his jaw came loose. He totally shit himself! But he had been able to articulate. He'd completely forgotten the ability to talk. He still knew how to do one thing, though. Run! Well, I'll have you vote in the... Nah, that's the only option. Run! Get the... Scream of endless suffering! Wordless heartbreak. This time, his shame was stronger than the wall. The sun was already up in the sky by the time Adam managed to remember that he was supposed to go to the bazaar.
Oh, I'm so so sorry. I didn't mean to arrive so late. Please don't kill me.
Kill me! But lo and behold, there was no one around.
Ha! What do you know? First again. I'm gonna have to ask for a raise at this rate.
Or you're so late everyone left.
Oh, hold up. Now ain't the time for that.
Oh shit! Oh shit! I love the fucking sprite work in this game. It is so goddamn charming. I love it so. Oh shit!
Boss! Ha! Gotcha. You're gonna end up giving someone a heart attack if you don't quit sneaking up on people like that, you know.
Oh shit! I don't like that in my ear. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Right. Don't you think for a second I forgot I was supposed to prepare the stall. No, ma'am. But, you know, days are getting longer, and it's harder to sleep at night, and the streets are real crowded, and...
They ain't happy with you, man. They ain't happy. Ina's silent glare told him that she didn't believe a single word, but she didn't care enough to pry either.
Hey now! Quit giving me that look, missy. You got here late, too.
You are not in a position to be laying down no damn accusations, man. You better get fucked up. Look, they got that is the gaze of a person that has killed many people. Oh, God. She pointed at her hair. It was dripping drops of green water.
And how is it my fault that you were busy dyeing your hair?
Leaving him with that perfectly valid question unanswered, she walked back to pick up the big bag she left a few steps away. She lifted it up with a single hand and then headed towards the stall, closely followed by Adder. It was about time that they began working. A sudden thought popped up in Adder's mind as he helped her set up their carpet.
So, how come the patron ain't here? It just gonna be the two of us today?
Aina simply shrugged. Starting to think that Aina is a mute? Maybe?
You won't tell your pa I got here late, right, boss?
I don't know that she could tell anyone anything. She hasn't spoken. She punched his arm with such a strength that she almost made him fall sideways. Yeah, it's like that one interview that we have interviewing a blind person. They were like, "Man, you've done so much against all odds. Is there anything you can't do?" And then they were like, "See, I can't see."
Ow! What did I? Oh, tail.
Yeah,
Sorry, boss.
dumb shit. This little reminder that This little reminder that it was a sensitive issue effectively killed the conversation. There wasn't a conversation! She hasn't spoken! You can talk with body language. People from all over Heirloom began congregating in the bazaar, turning the walled plaza into a sea of spice, trinkets, and deer. The currents of that sea were still difficult to understand for Adder, who often found himself pushed to the ground in the busiest hours. Today would be especially lively. It was the beginning of the Dawsoon season, and so the festive Ecane had to make sure to bid a proper farewell to the rain clouds so they'd be back again by the end of it. A pleasant change from Adder's usual day-to-day, working in Aina's forge under the continuous risk of suffering a heat stroke or third-degree burns. Or that's what he thought at first.
Welcome, welcome!
Ooh, putting on a fucking voice, are you?
We got the best prices in town! Come on and see what goods we offer!
Oh yeah, we gon' make some shit for you! There was no reaction whatsoever to his incessant yelling. Oh God! You put them teeth away, Missy. You scaring the shit out of me, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Other than Anna snickering at him for trying so hard, that is.
Sure must be fun watching me break my back so your dad won't yell at us.
There isn't a damn thing wrong with these sprites. They're expressive, they move, they're communicative, they're unique, they're... I love the art in this game! With a long sigh, Anna sat up and cast a tired glance over the carpet. She reached out and grabbed a small, shiny dagger. Run, motherfucker! After checking its sharpness against her glove, she began stabbing the air as possible customers approached the stall attempting to showcase its intended use. Ada quickly put his hands over his shoulders, discreetly bringing her arms down.
You know what? Nah, take that back. There ain't no deer in the world that works harder than Anna of the test. There just ain't. A hard worker like you deserves a good rest every once in a while, so just let me take care of this, boss.
Sure, whatever. He did his best attempt at a natural smile. Anna, who couldn't care less about any of this, simply shrugged and sat back, still wielding the knife. She let her hand fall on one of the stones that paved the bazaar and effortlessly tore it from the ground, deciding that it would serve better as a sharpening tool.
You do you.
You do you. The hours passed by slowly and painfully, for they were completely ignored by any passerby. Well, actually avoided rather than ignored. It was no surprise the merchant, Ada's patron, and his mute daughter were two of the most despised people in the city. In spite of the incredible variety of antiquities and smithery that the merchant had for sale, no one ever bought a single thing. And there were plenty of reasons for that. Even Ada had some serious doubts about working for an old barren man whose fur was redder than blood and an albino smith that insisted on dyeing her hair green. The fact that they worked independently from Heirloom's Traders Guild probably had something to do with it too. In any case, it was well after noon, and they hadn't done anything but sit around the whole day. Ada pressed his lips together and began drumming his fingers against the floor. You're gonna piss her off, man. He looked askance at Anna, hoping his subtle call for attention had stirred her curiosity, but there was no answer. Of course there was no answer! She's mute! He'd have to be the one to actually break the silence as usual. No shit.
So, hey, Anna. I bet you're still wondering just what in the world could make a hard-working buck like this one get here so late this morning.
Why would you bring that up again? Anna stopped hitting the rock with the blade. She barely moved her eyes towards Ada.
Well, buckle up, because there's a whole story there. This got to stay between you and I. But, this morning,
You have got to play this game. It is so fucking, adorable. I'm serious. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
I'm going to love it.
You're going to love it. You left the door open.
Yeah, he's literally right here beside me.
For now. Alright, we got I saw a beast, which didn't happen. I ran through a wall, which didn't happen. Or I saw a gazelle, which actually happened. So, my vote would be for the thing that actually fucking happened. But what do y'all think? 1, 2, or 3? Motherfucker. Motherfucker. Fucking Chris. Too endearing. The main characters are dear. Take an antacid. I'm just hoping that fucking works. Well, I don't need the whole fucking thing. Just leave the whole fucking bottle with me. Awesome. Huh. Huh. here's hoping the antacid does something. Alright, the majority says 3. I saw a gazelle.
I saw a gazelle, but not any gazelle. No, ma'am. She was the fanciest gazelle girl I've ever seen. And there she was in the slums, strutting her hip-shaking, earthquaking, heart-melting butt.
What the fuck? Anna's inquisitive gaze suddenly made Anna very conscious of his own words and thoughts. Ada was most certainly not used to having her pay attention to him when he spoke.
Butt ugly face! So I just ran away because she was so awful.
She gonna be right behind you.
Yeah.
She gonna be right behind you, motherfucker. You can't be saying no shit like that. Goddamn, you can't be doing that shit, man. I could feel how Anna's lilac eyes stared at his very soul, piercing a hole with a question that she meant to ask. Why, it was such an intense look that he felt flustered. With her usual silent demeanor, Anna brought her 2 gloved hands in front of her face. She balled them into a fist, raising just her index fingers. Then she lifted them until they rested on her forehead like tiny horns.
Horns?
With a quick motion, she took her horns to her mouth, biting them.
I ain't no gosh darn freaking horn eater, okay? I like those!
Oh, boy. The best way to define Anna's smile in that precise moment would be terrifyingly mean. While her bad temper was known and feared among the other merchants, it was unusual for her to be so acidic, especially towards Adder. Our dear boy couldn't help but notice this change, and he wasn't going to keep it to himself, of course.
You're acting real ugly, boss.
The smile on her face vanished, replaced instead by a grimace. Grimace! Grimace! Aw, out there buttering bread. In response to this affirmation, Anna merely shifted her gaze back to the blade and resumed her task, pretending she hadn't heard him. There's a shady figure in the background there. I wonder what that shady figure is doing. But if Adder was known for one thing, it was his incessant need to stick his nose in everyone's business. What's wrong, or are you scared? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Oh, hell yeah! By the way, while you guys are voting, I have an anime suggestion for you. It's on Netflix, but you can probably also find it on Kiss Anime or whatever the fuck pirating sites you want. But it's called The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. I'm going to type it in the chat so you can see it. The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. So check that out if you get the chance. Everybody's saying 1, so we'll go with that. What's wrong? It's like Mob Psycho, but Sorry, Adder. It's like Mob Psycho, but if they didn't care. And I also love Mob Psycho, so that helps. Do the English dub if you don't hate dubs. Because the English dub is just really fucking funny. It's made by the same person who made... No. Mob Psycho is made by the same person who made One Punch Man, and Psyche K is completely different. So, what's wrong, Anna? Okay. A wrinkle formed over her nose as she focused on keeping calm, but Adder didn't get the message.
Come on, don't just keep everything to yourself. You know there ain't a single thing in the whole of Doc Nah you can't tell me.
She can't tell you anything! Dipshit! No sooner he'd finished that sentence, Anna slammed the dagger she was sharpening against the ground, effectively sinking the tip in the ground.
Right. I know there ain't a single thing you can tell me either. This is one of them metaphors things Gaff loves. He says that a hushed mouth ain't got nothing on an open heart.
Oh, God! Anna got up all of a sudden, her face red in anger. Adder was preparing himself mentally for the beating that he expected would ensue. But instead, she plopped down on the ground, sitting with her back against his. Our dear Buck was puzzled, to say the least, but BriAnna didn't even make a sound. She can't! She sat behind him, completely still and hidden from the public eye. Of course, the possibility of getting whacked in the head was now more real than ever, so Ryder didn't even attempt to guess why she'd ever do that.
What was the patron thinking?
Well,
Oh!
he probably didn't expect you two to play, hide and seek in the stall.
What the fuck is this Grimace mixed with fucking Diabetes Man mixed with the fucking Grinch looking motherfucker? Well, oh, sweet Christ. Ada and Anna immediately jumped away from each other, doing their worst at best attempt at looking half professional. A thunderous laugh resonated over the ruckus of the bazaar.
Heel grab?
Heel grab?
It's respectable Illigrab Bund Hollows to you, boy.
Oh my, what a fucking name! I can't believe that this Grimace, Diabetes... Good teeth, though. He's got good teeth.
But please, don't hold back on my account. I'll just look the other way.
What?
Oh, Jesus, who the fuck? Oh, here comes the merchant. And so appeared the man that was so red that it would seem that he'd stolen all the color his daughter was lacking.
Patron!
Oh, shit.
Ah, so he gets the respectful treatment and I don't. I see how it is.
What's that salacious doll cop doing to my daughter now?
I don't understand. Why would this guy leave his daughter around such a bone-headed idiot? I don't understand it at all.
They're just strengthening their ties of friendship. Ah, or is this a budding love?
Ha ha ha! My bad jokes are hilarious! Ha ha ha! Oh shit, he just got whacked. Didn't do anything, I imagine. The merchant shook his cane, hitting Ilgrab's twiggy leg with his loud thunk. The tree man just wiggled his mustache in response.
Whoa! Hold up. We weren't doing anything, patron.
That's the problem, you come aground! You loiter sack! You
loiter sack!
A coughing fit saved out of him more old-timey insults, which he could barely comprehend. Once he'd recovered, the merchant put his bearded face next to Adder's, resting the tip of his cane on Adder's chest. He reopened his toothless mouth slowly, his breath reeking more like bleach than liquor.
You haven't sold a single thing, have you?
Oh yeah, you tell him, man.
Now, that's hardly their fault, Fred.
I'm sure this Yeltsin was just frolicking with my daughter as usual!
Oh, God!
That fucking voice.
I'm sorry,
It's amazing.
She's old enough to frolic as she pleases.
Oh hell, you getting in a bad room. You getting in a bad way, tree man.
She hasn't even come of age yet!
Of course she hasn't. There's no way for her to pass that right.
Of course there is! She just needs to open her mouth and stop being an idiot!
That motherfucker. Of course there's a way for her to run the 12-mile run. She just has to get out of a wheelchair and stop being lazy. You crap basket. Crap basket? Have I been watching fucking... Have I been watching fucking Team Warstar too much? Yeah, Season 2 of Psyche is still only subtitled, unfortunately. So if you're a fan of the English dub, you're not going to be able to watch the English dub yet. But Never fear, it's still a funny fucking show.
The only idiot here is the one talking, patron. Ana's just mute.
I wish that rub off on you!
You wanted to rub off on him? I don't... that is... mixed messages.
And maybe you'd learn to keep your mouth shut when adults are talking!
I want to see this dude at like a McDonald's.
I told you I didn't want any lettuce on my McChicken! You lazy sacks of crap!
But I did pass the coming of age right, sir! I got them adult horns and...
Oh, you ain't got no damn adult horns, man.
Shut up! Don't you have anything to say about this, insolent child?
They left.
Ana?
She walked away while you two were arguing.
Then why didn't you say so sooner, you overgrown sapling?
I love this fucking guy so much.
She looked like she needed it.
This is all your fault! And yours!
He stabbed Anna's nose with the tip of his finger.
What did I do?
That stupid child's been acting up since you first arrived!
Don't blame the poor boy. She's always had an attitude, and you know it.
I don't care! You two better go bugger off somewhere else! Or I swear to Arab that I'll hit you so hard that you'll be cropping out your teeth for a week!
I'm done. I can't. I can't believe this shit, man. I can't believe it. Oh my god. Oh. Ooh. Sweet George, man. Both Adder and Ilgrab winced at that. Oh shit. Dung, dung,
Now hold
dung,
up,
dung.
what?
Come on, Adder. Those two clearly want some alone time. And he'll have plenty of that when I leave him tied to the pyre next time I find a mob outside the shop.
Ha! Ilgrab took out by the cape and lifted him off the ground as they walked away. Despa, that's the voice I did a while back. Damn, who shit in his food? Who crapped in his cornflakes? Didn't take Ilgrab long to notice that his unusual what the fuck? Reticence to speak.
Please, don't let Red's words affect you. He's, worse today. There's a storm coming from the west, and it's making us old people nervous.
No, the patron can preach and holler all he want. That don't bother me much. I mean, I don't cry anymore at least.
Oh.
What he said to Ana, though? Now that's going 2 paces past the league too far.
Them damn southern phrases, I love it.
So what if she can't swear the oath thing? The 3 won't get mad at her for being mute. And anyway, Ana don't gotta pass no right. It ain't like she's getting married any day soon, right?
There. Got it all out of your system, boy?
You know what? All this stuff I'm saying means radish stew if I don't say it to her face. I gotta find her and make sure she's alright.
Ilgrab didn't reply to the last affirmation. He placed Adder carefully on the ground and patted his cape to straighten it.
Well, in that case, I have to go back to keeping watch on the fair. So, this is where we say goodbye for today. Hey, I'll send someone to fetch you if I see her, okay?
Like trying to be the Smash announcer. That is all for today. Thank you all for joining me, and I will speak to you again very soon. Fare thee well. You know? Oh, the voices in this fucking game. I gotta tell you at least one thing. They are all fucking memorable. Even Ana's lack of a voice is fucking memorable. What the fuck is wrong with the back of my hand, motherfricker? Adder nodded resolutely. They waved goodbye to each other. There he goes. Adder nodded resolutely. I already said that. And then the buck just stood there wondering where to start looking when the bazaar was half a league from gate to gate. Assuming she was still in the bazaar at all.
Finally! I thought that fluffy bastard was never leaving.
There he is. Goff walked into the scene with a huge smile as the giant disappeared in the distance.
Afternoon, Mr. Bard.
Oh, lad, what a face.
Well, see, it's a long...
Ah, not a word. Thy mien speaketh clearer than thy tongue doeth.
Christ.
You're hungry.
Nah, I ain't in the mood to...
Well, I am. And I can't play a song when my stomach's growling a gazelle. Let's get some fried leaves.
Sorry, Bard, I ain't got time for any of that. I gotta go look for Aina. She just ran away angry as all get out, and I know darn well if I don't go check up on her, no one's gonna...
And I thought my songs were monothematic.
Ooh, monothematic, goddamn. Yoff picked the strings on his oud one by one, deep in thought, while Adder just paced around.
I know just the place to look.
A ditch. Goff expertly snuck through the crowds, moving with such ease that he seemed to be a little more than a shadow. Adder did his best to keep up with him, though that was hardly an easy task when he was one head taller than most other deer. The place Goff was looking for wasn't in the plaza itself, surrounded by stalls and other merchandise, but rather one of the many alleys that led to the bazaar. Oh hell, there's people hooping and hollering and jumping around and having a good time. The crowd there was bustling with life as well, but not in the same manner. They were all rowdy, dear, pushing and cheering and laughing and crying, and God, the sounds just won't get out of my head. And they're gone. A Conmay alley. Conmay alleys were very different from the official sort. While killing was still very much frowned upon, there was no chivalry, no one set of rules. There was no way of knowing if the horns you were being gored with were hygienic. There were punches and kicks and all sorts of cheats. It was chaos. And for that, and several other reasons, Aina was a huge fan of unofficial Conmay. Sadly, as much as Adder jumped and pushed and yelled, she wasn't anywhere to be found.
Alas, your fair maiden is in another alley.
Ah! Possible Mario references. Adder cast a long glance over the improvised battlegrounds, attempting to find her at one last time.
That's too bad. Aina kicked some serious ass here.
Good thing she's not allowed to fight.
Yeah, ain't no way they're gonna let it go.
A golem, Adder.
Goff cast a very serious look in his direction. This wasn't the first time that they've had this discussion, and it wouldn't be the last.
How many times do I gotta tell you? Aina is not a golem, Kay? She's a dome. It's just she's a bit of a weirdo.
Weirdo. Right.
Weirdo.
Tell me, Adder dearest, how many albino toes can you name off the top of your head that can lift your heavy butt with just one hand?
My dumbass did not put it together that he was a bard, even though he kept getting called Mr. Bard and had a fucking thing, and that's the reason why he talks all sing-songy. Why am I an idiot?
Aina! Now let's go! We gotta find her!
Why do I even bother? Look at her. Golem or not, she's just a little cabbage head hiding in the crowds of this enormous city. She's damn good at hiding. And do you know why people hide?
Because they don't want to be found.
Because they don't want to be found.
Hey, there you go. Goff extended his arms towards him in a dramatic manner, remarking how correct he was.
We're not gonna find her. So why don't you go and use your thick skull for something useful? Like bringing us money so we can have dinner for once.
Gaff pointed at the ring on with his horn. Gaff pointed at the ring with his horns, and Adder knew better than to insist. With a heavy sigh, Adder nodded and began walking towards the ringmaster.
Ah, wait, there's just one more thing. Your bag of coins. You wouldn't want to lose what little we have to the hands of, say, some ill-intentioned crook, now would you?
Better the evil you know, right?
Gaff extended his hands a bit too keenly, waiting for Adder to find the purse he usually hid within his sash. But...
Whoa, Bard. You're really gonna bust a gut laughing.
Don't tell me you lost it.
Alrighty then.
Gaff's scrawny body trembled like a branch about to snap off. That fucker.
Just go. Alright. See that sweaty blackhead over there with the glistening fur and that charming smile? That's your foe. I'll go place my bet now. Are you feeling like a winner, ladder?
Charming? Oh, hold up! You mean the guy with them sharpened horns? Oh, darn, Bard. Your confidence in this poorly put together row is much appreciated, but as much as it hurts me, and it does, I think I'd rather go to bed hungry today.
What?
What if he hits me in the face? I don't want to go from Adder the one-eyed to Adder the no-eyed!
Then do enlighten me, my boy, on how in the name of the Hatsa do you pretend to become a knight if you can't handle even a rack pointed at you?
Oh shit, that motherfucker is getting intense.
No wonder you can't even catch a hint, yellow piece of mangy venison.
Oh, that motherfucker. Yellow piece of mangy venison, motherfucker, son of a bitch.
Sorry about that.
What are you mumbling there, Goff?
I said I'm going to walk you through this. So oh help me three if you mess up.
Hey, let this start with. And a girl, you sure eat your veggies. But those sticks on your forehead, I can't fool anyone.
Oh, Jesus.
If he's serious, this is gonna be easier than I'd thought.
Oh, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? This is not the version where I get a battle system to work either, so we're going to play pretend together and make like you won. Yay! You gotta love in development games. That's fucking amazing. And it even says this from Sandra. Oh, God.
Whoa, I can't believe it! Still alive and kicking! Come on, show me the money, Bard. I want to bite every single coin.
You know, they should just leave that in the final version. That's just funny.
I completely forgot to place the bet.
Oh, you mother son of a... Goff covered his face with his hands, making some sort of unintelligible noise that can only be described as the very sound of anger.
Hey, Big Ed, I want to learn some tips too. I'll buy you dinner.
Hey now, sir. You really think you're going to steal my manager away, so...
Goff shut Adder's mouth snout with one hand.
My dear boy, you sure gave it all today, so why don't you go and enjoy what's left of the fair? I have a gig in the tavern later. Money, yes. Don't expect me tonight.
Oh, that turncoat mother... With that, Goff hurriedly shooed a very confused Adder away. Without any friends or anything even remotely similar to hang out with, Adder dragged his feet around the bazaar. He had missed most of the events, and after the fight he was acutely aware of just how empty his stomach was. Adder considered that his best bet was merely walking around until he got tired and then heading home to sleep the hunger off until Anna bought him some food the next day. That is, if Anna was coming back of her own volition. Then again, he'd never seen her miss a single day of work. He wandered all over the plaza, unsure of where he was headed. And somehow, he ended up in a place that looked all too fancy for a poor buck like him. Then again, maybe it wasn't as fancy as it looked. Didn't look like like the does around could afford many clothes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Before the gears of his mind could add one and one, a small flickering light coming from a small tent nearby stopped Adder's train of thought. Distracted from his previous concerns about the ladies, he kept his eyes fixed on the flame in the dark, and felt it was directed at him somehow. Though we can't disregard that being related to being too hungry to think, of course. With nowhere better to go and nothing better to do, Adder followed his intuition and headed straight into the tent. Dusk was still a ways off, but it may as well have been midnight inside the tent. Adder combed the darkness desperately, startled by the sudden change in illumination. Bandits, assassins, mongrels, his imagination conjured a million evildoers ready to make him part with his precious cape, for that was all he had on him. An orange blur shone in the corner of Adder's sight. Its flare grew with unmeasurable force, blinding him for a moment. He struggled to regain his vision, fearing those foes that only lived in his mind. Bathing in the light of an orb that was filled with fire, shading in ways that made no sense whatsoever, awaited a feminine silhouette. A very feminine silhouette. Hey!
Long enough.
Hey, it's fucking her! Of course it was her!
Yeah, it's not a living!
And all of a sudden, Adder wished he'd found a bandit instead. At least he would have known where to look then. He tried to fix his gaze on her eyes, shining above a thin pink veil that covered most of her face, and that was in vain. The sequins that hung from her neck reflected the light all over the room, dragging Adder's attention right back to them and the scarf that covered the bare minimum. I have 1,000 words to call the woman in front of him, and none of them are good. So let's just say that what she was wearing would be inappropriate now, let alone then.
Don't just stand there. Take a seat.
I don't know. I've been sitting on my tail all day, and I got places to go, and I don't usually share tents with ladies, and...
Judging by her glare, she wasn't going to take no for as an answer. Well, out of all these goddamn choices, I guess we'll go with well if you insist.
What am I saying? It'd have been mighty ugly of me to reject an invitation.
Adder did as asked and sat down on one of the many pillows laying around. What the fuck was that? Pretending to be... Pretending to be crazy, escaping, begging the gods for mercy, breaking down and claiming that he wasn't in fact a horn eater, this was just a mistake, and he shouldn't be there. Adder's mind was bustling with ways of getting out of that situation. So, of course, whenever his mind was busy, his mouth was free to speak as it pleased.
Hi.
Hey! He spoke with a voice more akin to that of a fawn, whose antlers are just beginning to sprout, than that of a fully grown deer. I'm Adder, or nice place. One or two. One or motherfucking two. I don't think we actually introduced ourselves proper in the last interaction. So maybe that would be the right thing to do, or complimenting the place. One or two. You guys vote. Outsourcing my fucking responsibilities. That's what I do. That's why I don't have many friends. Fucking Bixby. What's this? One, two, one, one. Boom. Fills the majority says one. unless we need to vote for 2, but no, the majority still says 1. So I'm Adder!
I'm Anderson, son of Griffith, the buck who farms the highest hill in my village, Ravina Otis. So, here and there, just about everywhere, folks know me as Adder, of the upper field.
That's not what I said to say.
That's nice.
Ain't it? It better be, because it's a lie, ma'am. They call me Long Neck Short Horns, or Adder Shovel Hands, or sometimes even Adder Shoe Face.
You're not helping yourself, man. A mocking chuckle stabbed Adder's heart. Feeling even more self-conscious than he thought he was capable of, he held onto his hooves and fixed his gaze on the ground, screaming inside as his face burned.
So it wasn't the contusion after all, huh? You're just like that.
Like what now?
Oh boy.
Funny.
Funny? Me? Not one bit, man. I ain't got a funny bone in my body. Doc and I ain't ever seen worse jokes than Adder scenes.
Oh boy.
Hold up. Didn't that sound like a poem just now?
Oh, simple man.
Well, darn. A poem ain't nothing but a dull song, Mr. Bard always says so. I'd hate to bore a fine lady such as yourself, so I better get...
Bore me? Please. With hands like those, you wouldn't look out of place in a traveling circus, or in some lord's court, if you're any good at juggling. In fact, I know a certain gazelle in dire need of entertainment. What do you say? 1 word from Joseph, and you will be working in a palace tonight.
Adder couldn't quite figure out if that was meant to be an insult or a compliment, but he was quick to decide that it would be better to work for someone that didn't talk than for someone that talked about herself in third person.
I think I'm gonna pass for now, but I'll holler at you next time I'm fresh out of pride, ma'am.
Oh! A deep silence filled the tent. Adder cursed his luck and his good manners. He wanted to run away and hide, fearing that otherwise he'd commit a big mistake. The kind of mistake that would get him called a horn-eater for the rest of his life.
Well then, it was sure nice to see you again, but...
Would you like to know your fortune?
Adder turned on his heel, desperate to find out if her offer was indeed true. There was nothing that betrayed a lie in her words, nor in her eyes.
Whoa! You're one of those gazelle fortune tellers? For real?
Let's just say they looked rather different back in Adder's town.
Well, slap my head and call me silly. I got you pegged all wrong, man. Darn right I'd love to hear it. Oh, hold up. I lost my bag of coins. I ain't got a single dollar on me, so...
Something flew into the ground right beside Adder's foot.
My bag?
Oh, I guess she took it.
You dropped it right after you crashed the first time.
Oh, no, she didn't
I
take
meant
it.
to give it back, but since you were so bent on running through that wall...
You didn't steal from it, did you?
Steal what? It's just filled with rivets.
Aha! That means you opened it!
So much for wanting to see you again.
Aww.
That was all. You can go now if you want.
Aw, she's been crossed. A punch to the gut would have hurt Adder infinitely less than her words. What am I doing? He thought to himself, biting the inside of his cheek. No mere thief would have returned his bag, and sad as that was, no other person had ever gone so far for him. And so he sat down once more, looking at his finely yet scarcely dressed woman in front of him with a mix of embarrassment, naivete, and just plain fear.
I don't suppose you accept rivets as payment.
That would depend on what you're paying for.
Oh, okay.
Getting my fortune told?
Just keep them.
Joseph rested her arms over the crystal orb, leaning closer to Adder.
All right! Can you look into the ball thing and tell me how my ma and pa are doing? Did any of my little bros get married yet?
That's cute. But it's a reading glass, not a magic mirror.
Right. How about the weather? Can you give them good harvests?
Take your prayers to the temple.
Oh, darn, that won't do either. Alrighty then, how about me? What do you see in this buck's future?
Your future? Why would you want to know anything about that? Life would be boring if you knew what waits around every corner.
You're a fortune teller, right? And
I'll read your past and justify your present.
he knows his past. And he's in the present. If this wasn't free, I'd call this a ripoff.
But I already know those things.
I don't.
Her blue eyes spoke like an insinuating whisper. Her fingers walked over the cobblestone ground headed towards Adder's own hands as her face got ever so close.
For example, we could talk about why you did what you did for me then, and figure out what I could do to return the favor now.
The bells that hung from her sash rang as they hit the ground, reminding him once more of her less than modest clothing. But no, she was no dough.
I gotta insist, ma'am, that you definitely got the wrong book. But even if I ever did anything nice for you in my life, a simple thanks is more than enough payment.
I guess you could use a reminder too.
The soothsayer made no attempt to conceal her disappointment, much like no one ever made any attempt to explain to her what coming on too strong means. With apparent tedium, she grabbed the crystal orb and put it between her face, right, and Adder's. This time she had no more pretensions than merely watching him.
Oh fire, tell me the secrets in the... Yada yada, stuff and bazak. I don't feel like switching languages now.
That was fucking funny. Her complete lack of professionalism made Adder feel for once at ease. After all, what would he do if he was indeed in front of a Safi, one of those heinous barn wizards from far back in time? Cry, beg, try to escape? Wait, those were things he'd already thought of doing. As Adder was considering the subtle differences in the fears he felt when talking to a girl and imagining being burnt to a crisp by a witch, she watched him. And she kept watching. And then she watched some more. But something seemed off. The gazelle shifted her eyes and squinted, lifting her head from behind the glass a few times, and finally settled on fixing her gaze on the fire again. But she seemed to be struggling. She pressed her mouth to one side, wiggled her nose, and knit her eyebrows closer and closer as she focused on the orb until Adder could no longer hold his laughter back.
Shush! It's easier with two.
She mumbled the last part to herself, but Adder was sure that she'd said eyes.
Oh, what's that? You ain't never done it with a one-eyed deer before? Adder pressed his lips together like he wanted to make them disappear. Joseph merely rose an eyebrow. Come here, Spoovy. Spoovy, leave the door alone. Leave Aaron alone. Welcome home. Once I'm done with the stream, I'd be down to watch some Psyche K. Give you some time to relax, though. He's just literally just a guy here. His accidental innuendo made him begin shaking from horns to hooves once more.
Screw this.
She pushed the orb away with an exasperated sigh before Adder knew what was going on. His face was in her hands and her face right in front of his.
I need to find out if it was you after all. Stay still.
A drum beat in his ears, and that was Adder's heartbeat as she stared at him so intently. There was a lump in his throat. He did his best not to tremble.
No jumps. Thank you.
Is that the mail?
Yeah, and you can, like, shred or throw away that thing.
Yeah.
Goofy, no jumps. Okay. No jumps. No jumps?
Good boy. His eye began feeling heavy, though he tried to hold her gaze. Oh, she was muttering something, words about his past, but her voice became obscured by the noise of the bells, the crackling of the fire, the sound of her own eyelashes batting against each other.
No. This can't be.
Adder opened his eyes, surprised at her sudden change of attitude. He was going to ask what was wrong, but instead he would have screamed if he could. Oh shit! 2 guards manifested out of thin air, one young and angry, and the other collected yet strangely alert. The young guard pointed his aggressi at Assegai, at Adder, making it clear that he wasn't joking around.
Just who do you think you are?
Who do you think I am?
That was Joseph's voice. But as much as he tried to find her, Adder couldn't see her. In fact, he couldn't even move at all.
What? You're not gonna trick me with that, scum!
Yes, that was the brother incarnate.
As I said, I'm nothing but a girl on her way home.
Exactly. Now, get off the royal pathway immediately.
Whoa! Adder felt a lump in his throat as he unwillingly looked over the railings that he was leaning against.
I don't suppose you expect me to jump off the bridge.
You're right. I'll just drag you to the dungeon and end this nonsense. Your kin shouldn't even be outside after curfew.
My kin? Do you mean the girls from the Desert Rose?
The guard's face went pale all of a sudden. The older one seemed surprised in a different way. A sigh of relief was welling up inside Adder's chest, though he couldn't feel his chest at all. He was beginning to question his sanity altogether.
I assume you're familiar with that name. I'm already running late, and Miss Rochelle will be really, really worried if her favorite girl doesn't make it home before dawn. So, I thought that I could use a little shortcut.
But only nobles can.
Tell you what, if you could make a little exception this time, I'm sure I could arrange a discount next time you visit my home. Just say that Jasif sent you there.
Oh boy. Playing a new game.
Jasif? I mean, if you were a doe, I would consider it, but...
No. It's the Hayseed Knight.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of things about Jasif. And I think I'd recognize someone that goes around calling herself Queen if I saw her.
I can assure you I'm...
Assure me? I'm not sure I can take a gazelle's word. See, maybe I can't recognize you because you're wearing too many clothes.
Oh boy.
Ugh, what are you saying, you numbskull?
What? It's her job anyway if she's telling the truth. We could let her go if she pays a little toll.
Oh, this is unfortunate. Adder felt revolted. The other guard was clearly disgusted as well.
Keep it together, Sep. It's over if you take a step back.
The guards didn't react to that sentence at all. It's like they hadn't heard her when her voice sounded loud and clear to Adder in Adder's ears. But more importantly, Sep?
I can pay in gold.
Then we'll take that too.
We? I want nothing to do with this.
More for me.
A smirk appeared on the guard's face, but before he could even move a muscle, a scream tore up the silence of the night.
What do you think you're doing?
Oh boy. There he is. Everyone turned around to look at the idiot, yelling all the way down on the ground.
Think you could just bother her last because she looks good enough for second helpings and then dessert? Well, you can't, alright? That's radish stew, and you'd make your mom cry if they knew. Let her go!
Adder had most certainly gone crazy.
What the hell is that sad first saying? Is he drunk?
I don't know. I think he's just a horn-eater like you.
Who are you calling a horn-eater? Just hold up there!
Adder, the pudgy version of Adder that is, wasn't concerned with matters such as his complete lack of grace, agility, or strength. Moved by his sense of justice, he began climbing the column that led to the royal pathway. Of course, he never made it.
Hey! Are you still alive? Horn Eater!
You should go check.
As if I'm going to leave you alone with her. Get that old ass back to the barracks, or I'm telling Elograb what you just did.
It was the older guard's turn to go pale. He lowered his helmet and began walking in the other direction. The younger guard, however, stopped a moment to look at her.
Go home. And don't let me catch you up here again.
The guards finally disappeared into the darkness, a moment of peace, which Joseph took to look over the railing one last time. Her wannabe savior now lay unconscious on the ground after hitting his head during the fall. And in spite of how miserable the scene was, Adder could feel a smile forming on her face. He finally understood that, crazy or not, he was seeing what she was seeing, and the way she saw it.
That was really nice of you. I'll make it up to you somehow.
Noticing how high the bridge was off the ground, she quickly pulled away from the railing.
Some other day.
Joseph turned around and began running, lest any other patrols would head her way. As she ran, Adder began feeling lightheaded. He shut his eyes tightly once more, and when he opened them, he was back in the tent, with the gazelle still staring at him. Not a moment had gone by. Adder had a million questions. Was that real? Was that a memory? Had he eaten something off? Had he forgotten any more parts of his life due to hitting his head too hard as usual? But as he opened his mouth, he could only pronounce a single word.
Sip?
The redhead lost grasp of his face for a moment. Her ears perked up, attracting Adder's gaze, much to his chagrin, towards her horns once more. She pulled her head back, disconcert forming on her expression little by little. It wasn't one of her conceited expressions, nor was there any mesmerizing superiority in her eyes. She looked honestly and utterly tiny for a moment, scared.
Where did you hear that?
Where did I... Oh! Ma'am, you're okay! You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I heard you say it just now. But not now. It was a long time ago. I was under Hirup's statue. I mean, you were, but I was you and not me, because I was trying to save you, but I fell on my face, and those guards laughed at me, and... just how the hell did I forget any of this? Why can't I remember?
Joseph rose a hand. It was shivering.
You're a gaze reader.
Anger hit her like a wave as the shock disappeared.
Why didn't you say so? Get away from me!
Fire in the orb began flickering erratically, casting disturbing shadows all over the tent.
Whoa, what's going on? What in the name of Atza did I do now? Was I supposed to say something? Thank you. That's the magic word?
Do you seriously expect me to believe that you...
Hold on. Sip? It was Sip, wasn't it? Oh crap, I just went and cussed a lady out in Gazelle speak, didn't I?
She looked at him with skepticism, her eyes squinted with barely concealed anger. She was clearly sizing him up.
No. You really don't have a clue of what you just did, do you?
Ma'am, if I ever got a clue in my life, it wasn't today. I'm just glad you're alright and that guard is in the dungeon or dead or something.
Her expression relaxed just a little as she considered Adder's words. Our poor boy had more than enough trying to get some air into his lungs.
Then you're telling me that you're a natural gaze reader? Do you even understand what this means?
Do I have to say yes or no to get out of here alive?
A small chuckle erased all the tension from her face. Adder felt even more confused upon seeing this.
I was trying to read your gaze, but you read mine instead. It's called gaze because we invented it. So, it's true what they say about yellow deer. You must have Barhan blood.
It is Barhan! I fucking knew it! Adder would have normally disputed that last affirmation. Road deer took pride in being real deer, no gazelle blood at all. Nope, 100% deer with does that don't have horns. This was clearly not the moment nor the company to say it.
In Cyrnar, please.
You read my mind.
Say what?
Say what?
I think I'm not the funny one here, Missy.
Oh shit. Hold on, guys. I just fucking thought of something. BRB.
Your foolishness does not help. It was seriousness.
Alright, sorry about that, y'all. Sorry. I'm so sorry. My hair's fucking huge. Ugh. There we go. Now it looks less like... No, it still looks like shit. Alright. The gazelle seemed way too amused with this development.
No, it makes so much sense. I was wondering why you spent so much time looking at my face. Hear me out. I'm sure you've always been really good at getting people's feelings. But not smart enough to actually understand them. You're like some kind of savant hick. That's hilarious.
And the premise of this game. A wrinkle formed over Adder's snout. That was quite enough.
My name is Adder, not Hick, Miss Sepp. Now why'd you go hiding such a cute little name, I wonder?
Her face went back to being a little more than a pretension of grandeur, but she held the But she held the fire close to her. She didn't look all that different from a child hugging her blanket, soothed by the rhythm of the bells she wore. Ada couldn't help but notice that her alarming clothing didn't even bother him anymore.
It's just a stupid nickname someone gave me. I hadn't heard it in years.
Oh yeah, she looked cool, man. She looked cool.
Dope. 10 out of 10 would cosplay as.
Yeah?
Would be cool.
Yeah.
Keep the ears. The dope part. Will you get your nose out of my ass?
They call me Jacif now.
Jacif, as that disgusting guard well said, was no average name, and much less for a barhan.
Ain't that something like Queen in Gazelle speak?
Bazaktet. And yes, that's a valid translation. Do you have any qualms about it?
Adder opened his mouth, ready to speak his mind. Sepp or Jacif? One or two, y'all. One or motherfucking two. What do you want? What do you want him to say? Speak your mind and vote in the chat. I want to know. I want to know. Can you show me? I want to know.
If strangers
Like me. If strangers like beef.
Stop biting me! Stop, hey!
Good luck today. No. Seriously. As soon as you have the opportunity to tell me, please do. Because I keep going from, oh, this game is so awesome, to, ah!
Ah, yes, the money was on top of the chocolate. What was that? No, remember what was right there. Hey.
I'll be
You'll
here.
be Mozart. And Aaron will be Beethoven. It'll be great.
Why does he get to be Beethoven? I want to be Mozart. He's obsessed with shit. Oh. You. Fuck you. It's not my fault I have a stomach disease that turns my bowels into a fucking torture rack. Bye. I look forward to hearing from you very soon. I love you. I said I love you! I
love you too!
Ah! Alright, we'll go with Joseph.
No. That's cool, Yusif. Did I say that right? I mean, if you need people calling you Queen to be happy, yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
shit.
need to be called anything to...
Oh, God. Hannah didn't mean anything with that, but he somehow managed to say something rude all the same. She didn't finish the sentence, deciding instead to just look away.
Are you alright?
She turned her face sharply towards his. There was something different in the way she was looking at him.
Adder, right?
That's me!
He took a hand to his heart and bowed his head as an instinctive greeting, accidentally clashing his horns against hers. He was surprised to find out somehow that he was a lot less gross than he thought it'd be. And he didn't know how to feel about this appreciation.
Didn't you want to know your future? Then listen closely.
If you don't get out of here, you're going to wind up in a ditch. Oh shit, what the fuck is this? Oh fuck. What the fuck? She about to whoop his ass, I bet. She put her mouth right next to his ear and whispered.
You're coming with me tonight.
Where?
You really are one of a kind. Come to the Desert Rose when the lights are all out. My room is on the first floor, but climbing there should be easier than climbing the bridge at the very least.
Wait, climb? Room? There you go saying weird stuff again. I'm not a thief, and I'm not a hoarding...
Oh? I'm not a... Without previous warning, the fire in the orb extinguished, leaving the room in total darkness. Adder didn't even have time to feel alarmed. He felt her hands on the back of his head, and the next he knew, her lips were over his. His mind shut up completely.
See you later.
He couldn't even stop to consider how he felt about that before the kiss was over. With his mind still in a daze, he got up and turned around to leave. For a few moments, he stood frozen outside the tent, merely appreciating the cool dusk breeze on his fur. By the time his thoughts began making any sense, he was already running home at full speed, crying disconsolately about the realization that he was, in fact, a horn eater. Wait right there. Stop reading immediately. Okay, no, I need you to continue. Never mind, you can read. Should you even? Is this a book for someone your age, Lynn? I mean, I'm not going there, but, you know, we don't know. I'd rather you stay a tiny fuzzball that won't stop yelling and running all over the place. Hey, did I ever tell you about how Sis and Dad met? What the fuck was that? Chapter 2. Ghost of the Feast. Lessons on the matter of peaceful conflict resolution.
Hey! If it ain't my little boss. How you doing, ain't it? And having a mighty fine day?
His thing is gone. I wonder why that is. But chapter 1 is done, so that will be the end of this episode and the stream. So thank you all very much for joining me on this episode. I hate my fucking disease. On this episode of the Hayseed Knight. On the next episode, we will be tackling Chapter 2, but until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the trained unprofessional, speaking for myself, then the voices in my head, and Spoofy! 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 He's Spoof! He's Spoofy! He's a Spoofy! When I say until next time, fare thee well. Bye, everyone! Awkward moment while I fucking end the stream. Alright, bye.